We live and travel full-time in our self-converted Ford Transit camper van with our cat, and we are traveling around the U.S., currently exploring the beautiful state of Washington. Today, we're heading to Mount Rainier for the first time.
Breakfast is served.
Look at that. Thank you, sir. What do we have for breakfast? What do you think of that? Mount Rainier National Park is centered around Mount Rainier, an active stratovolcano formed by centuries of eruptions and lava flows that stands over 14,000 feet and dominates the skyline of the southern Cascades. Established in 1899 as the nation's 5th national park, it protects alpine meadows, forest land, and more than 25 major glaciers, the most on any single peak in the continental United States. The park comprises approximately 369 square miles of protected wilderness with over 260 miles of maintained hiking trails and is one of the most ecologically diverse national parks in the Pacific Northwest. The park is known for its abundant wildlife and a mix of wildflower meadows, rushing waterfalls, and snow-capped peaks. Well, we have made it into Rainier National Park. Our first stop is at an inn here. There's a lot of amenities, and we need to use the amenities. So we are making our way up the mountain now. We came in the Nisqually entrance of the park, and we are heading to the Paradise area. Alright, that is too funny. I was just filming out the window. I was like, oh, there's a nice view. There's a nice part of a mountain peak, and the cloud cover kind of coming over it. And then I look back further and realize, oh, that's the Mount Rainier peak, which makes sense because there's only really one big peak right here. And I didn't realize it was right there. There are some other peaks you can see in the distance when you're up in this area, but that one pretty much stands alone. And there she is. Well, we are trying to make our way up to Paradise quickly because spots fill up there, but we wanted to stop here. We had 2 stops actually. The first one was closed, Rissiker Point, I think it was. This is Inspiration Point. There's an amazing view this way, and then wait till you see the view behind us.
Wow. Check out that view.
Oh my goodness. Wow. That was a nice stop. It was nice with the 2 different big views and also a look at Narada Falls, which we passed for now, but we got a bird's eye view of them. Bonus. So we've gotten ourselves settled in a parking spot here at the lower lot at Paradise. We are trying to figure out our plan of attack, what trails we want to do, and look who is laying on our map. Hey, give me this. Give me this. Give me this. Hey, give me my map back. You little stinker. We decided to stop in at the visitor center to get hiking recommendations in order to plan our next few days, since we hadn't had much time to research the park prior to arrival.
the park. So this one we don't have a specific map for, but it's on 410 East.
Yeah, okay. We just made a stop at the visitor center here in Paradise to get some information about trails and recommendations from the ranger. Now we are going to head off on our first hike to Myrtle Falls.
So far, this is my kind of hike. It meets all my criteria. First of all, the trail is paved, relatively flat, and it's got benches. So, little known fact, the United States Congress is kicking around the idea of reducing Mount Rainier from 14,000 feet down to 10,000 feet to make it easier for visitors to access. So you're going to want to look out for that petition and sign it either for or against, depending on your opinion on the matter.
The park was crowded, but it was still possible to find moments away from the crowds to enjoy the beauty of this amazing place, to soak up the mountain views and the breeze gently swaying the fields of wildflowers. Well, this is another beautiful hike. When you start out by the visitor center, there are people everywhere. It gets better and better as you get further away. And there are wildflowers everywhere. We're on our way back to the van. The peak of Mount Rainier has been very elusive today. But right now, it's showing just a little bit at the top finally. All right, well, we made it back to the van, and we can finally see most of the peak of the mountain. One of the really nice things about this area here by the visitor center is there's a pretty good cell signal. So we've been able to get some work done today. It was especially nice after not having any cell signal at our overnight spot last night. Alright, well, we have come down a forest road with a spot we found on iOverlander. We found this little pull-off first because the spot we found is actually quite a ways down the road and we're not sure what we'll find there, and it's a single lane, so we're going to actually get out and walk down and check it out a little bit. Try to be smart about it, not get ourselves stuck. Alright, well, we're trying to figure out if we're even in the right place. The map doesn't show the road that gets us to our spot, so we backtracked a little bit trying to get to it, but it's kind of hard with some of these forest roads. And we are navigating offline maps, and the satellite view doesn't work with that, so you can't actually like zoom in and see the dirt roads. They're just not on the map. So now we are at a crossroads. That's interesting.
Alright, so we went to the right at the fork, and there's a few pull-off spots that are already taken. Now we're going to go to the left and see what's up this way. I feel like this isn't the exact spot that was on iOverlander. It's nice, but I don't know, it doesn't feel like the reviews that I read.
There's a lot of space in here. Alright, well, there's definitely a lot of space here. And there are some open spots. So what are you thinking?
I say we walk a little bit further, see what's around this corner. And yeah, I mean, there's plenty of room to get to find a spot down here. It's not by the water, which I thought it would be, but it's alright. It's a beautiful spot nonetheless. So Audra suggested carrying the bear spray, and I think that's a pretty good idea, pretty good standard practice. Not only for encountering wildlife, but if any Looney Tunes come at us,
Well, we got some bonus hiking in today now. There is that.
so certainly not the bumpiest forest road we've ever been on, but it's got its spots here that we're going to have to go nice and slow. We could have stayed at the spot we originally found. Wasn't great. Our back end was kind of poking out a little bit, and we would have had to work at getting ourselves reasonably level. So I think it's a good idea just to make this trek down the hill a little bit. Audra and I identified 3 or 4 decent spots for the night, and we'll make one of those our home.
Okay. Alright, I think we have picked our spot. Now let's see if we can get ourselves in there properly and levelly. Alright, this actually looks pretty good. I think it actually looks pretty good.
Feels good.
Let me check the level.
Yep. All right, well, I'm going to go see if I can find anything to level us out a little bit.
Just going to use some of nature's own leveling blocks. Nailed it. We are perfectly level.
Good morning, you guys. We started our morning southeast of Mount Rainier, and we have made our way to Lake Tipsoo, which is just east of the mountain pretty much, due east of the peak. The reason we came here is because there's a toilet here, and it's the only toilet we could find on the National Park Service app or the maps. Down in the southeast region, there typically would be more options, but there's a lot of construction going on. So, unfortunately, the visitor center down there is closed. It looks like most of the access for getting water or using other facilities are just all closed right now. So we made our way here. We left our overnight spot as early as we could this morning because we read that this lot here fills up pretty quickly. When we got here, it did look pretty full, at least the official parking spots that are marked with lines. It's kind of interesting though to see as people get here, more and more people get more brave as the day goes on and they start making their own spots. That's one critique we'd have, I think, of the National Park Service. Like on the app, it actually says that parking fills up really quickly. So if they just made more lines for parking, it would make such a big difference because people don't park efficiently. They leave, big gaps between one car to the next, or one car parks here, another one parks over here, and since they're not lined up one at a time, there's just all these big gaps. So the Park Service really could do us a service, I guess, by making a lot more official spots. You could do a lot more cars in here if that were the case. So that's a little frustrating. And this is peak season. It's kind of frustrating with how busy it is. The other thing is, one toilet is, there are two stalls, if you will, two bathrooms with pit toilets, and there have been lines all morning. We've seen as many as 20 people waiting. So that's another thing. If you've got to go, you might have to wait really long. So we're also meeting some friends here today. Bill and Christina have been making their way west, and they should be getting here in a couple hours. In order to communicate with them, we actually had to set up the Starlink because we have no cell service in this area at all. So we have touched base with them. We're really hoping it won't be an issue when they get here because of the difficulties with parking. Hopefully we can figure something out and do a little hiking together. In the meantime, Steve and I are going to go for a shorter hike around the lake here as we wait for them. Wow, there are lots of gorgeous wildflowers here. Lots more lupin in this area. All the purple. Wow, I think this is the most wildflowers I have seen anywhere. It is beautiful. All right, there's the peak of Rainier. It's a little hard to see. It almost looks like a ghost mountain today. Look at all these wildflowers. Absolutely gorgeous. All right, Bill and Christina are here. It just worked out that a spot opened up right next to us. So Steve is repositioning so they can fit in here. Look who's here! Look, here's Bill. Christina!
I know. Here she is. You can sort of be outside.
She's like, yeah, I want to go out there. So the wildflowers are so gorgeous here. I knew Christina would love it. We are doing the little lake loop again. What do we have here?
Brain trust.
Two boys on a bench. So the ranger told us that there is an American bistort here that's also called dirty sock. And Bill is going to smell it and see what he thinks. What do you think, Bill?
I think it smells pretty good.
Bill likes stinky socks, dirty socks.
It's very interesting smelling.
Does it smell better than your dirty socks?
Yes. I can smell a hint of flour in there.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of a sweet smell.
Yeah.
All right. So what'd you think?
It definitely has a musky kind of smell, but I don't say it stinks. It has an older flower smell, one that is on its way out.
I would say it's a little pungent,
Yeah.
but not too bad. It's not horrible.
No.
It's fun discovering different kind of plants in a new area.
There's a couple of leaves in April. Comes back in October.
Christina's in heaven. So I just can't get over how many flowers there are here, and it smells so nice. Well, we are making our way out of Mount Rainier National Park. It is really fun to be caravanning with Bill and Christina again. To see them right now ahead of us is super fun. Originally, we had been hoping to do the sunrise area of the park tomorrow, but that's a reservation-only area or you have to get in there before 7 a.m. And Bill and Christina have been there before, and we all talked about it, and we just agreed that we've seen enough at the park, and we're gonna move on, because we want to get to the Olympic Peninsula. We're playing leapfrog with Bill and Christina already. We are switching, so now they are behind us, and we are in front.
And the reason we're doing that is Bill's a lot like me, where he likes to take his time coming down off a mountain, especially. You don't want to overheat the brakes, so he said it makes him a little nervous when someone's behind him, and I can understand that. So I'm taking the lead for this part.
All right, well, while we have an hour drive to get back to Tacoma, let's hear what Steve thought about Mount Rainier National Park.
Well, I'm glad we did it. That being said, I don't know that I need to go back anytime soon. Unfortunately, the first stop we made at Paradise was nice. I enjoyed the little hike we did. That waterfall was nice. But there was a lot of cloud cover, so couldn't quite get a good view of the mountain itself. My theory is they probably bring those clouds in when the projection is broken, so it gives them a chance to fix whatever's broken and then move the clouds out. The mountain is magically there again. That's just a theory. And today I enjoyed a little hike around the pond in Tipsoo. There are a lot of wonderful flowers. So again, glad we did it, but I don't think I need to come back anytime soon. I feel like you can get a better view of the mountain from Tacoma than being up where we were. My 2 cents.
Yeah, like Steve said, I'm really glad we did it. We like checking the national parks off our list, and it's beautiful. But I think when you travel as much as we do and see as much as we do, I feel like we get a little more picky. So while I loved being there, I think that helped in the decision to not extend our time another day, especially since it was going to be quite a bit more effort. And that's one of the things about the national parks in general, especially during the peak season. They just get so busy that everything just takes more effort. So that kind of plays into everything. But I love the wildflowers. I would say that was the highlight for me. The mountain views were nice. It was nice whenever we got a little peek at the summit of Mount Rainier. But we both have talked that we actually liked the views when we were at Mount Baker better. It felt like it was a lot easier to get up to the top and see a lot more. So if you had to choose between the two, I think I would say Mount Baker. It's just more easily accessible. I mean, it's a long drive to get up there, but it's a lot easier to do things when you're up there. The other thing, I mentioned before the frustration with the parking and the lack of some of the amenities. I forget if we said already, but when we were in Paradise, the visitor center closed at 5:30, and along with that closing, it meant you could no longer get water. So we have the app where it tells you where you can get water or bathrooms or whatever, but I'm pretty sure that the bathrooms also closed at 5:30. So, it doesn't get dark till 9 o'clock-ish, and so all the people that are out hiking or using the area until later in the day, that's kind of a bummer that everything is closed and you can't access anything. So we've had a hard time actually getting water in this area. We're getting kind of low, so we're going to have to find a place to restock. So there are some things that were kind of more frustrating here in this area.
Yeah, I would agree. I think with just a little bit more effort, the park could be managed a little bit better. Instead of having one toilet, or essentially 2 stalls servicing hundreds of people, that line at times was well over 20 people deep. During the summer season especially, they could bring in porta-johns, and then the parking lot itself is pretty large, but they only have the perimeter marked for spaces, so that leaves people to kind of make up their own parking spots, and that just tends to add to chaos and inefficient. Like, they could easily squeeze in a lot more spaces and alleviate some of the parking challenges. But again, glad we did it.
The other thing to note is that there's not much cell service in this area at all, except for in Paradise. In Paradise, there's great coverage, but outside of that, it's pretty much zero. It has been for us. We're on different phone plans, the AT&T and Verizon networks, and we had no service pretty much anywhere else. So that's something to keep in mind if you're planning to come to this area and spend time here. So we love the national parks. We love that they preserve so much beauty for everyone to see. Even though it's kind of frustrating and hard to navigate with so many people, it's really neat to see all those people out enjoying everything. I'm sure there were some longer hikes there where you could get even better views than what we saw, but what we saw was beautiful. And once again, we just love the opportunity to check out these places, and we are really looking forward to seeing more national parks and other beautiful places as we continue to travel around this area. Well, we have found our spot for the night. This is where we're going to leave you for this episode. If you enjoy our videos, please consider becoming a patron by using the link on the screen that we've also included in the video description, along with information about today's adventure and our channel. A special thank you to all our patrons. We appreciate your ongoing support. Thanks for coming along with us on this van life adventure. Please take a second to hit the like button below, leave a comment to let us know you're watching, and click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Don't forget, you can also connect with us and see my photos of the places we visit on our Facebook and Instagram. See you next time for more adventure.